be even more special to the city and to our team.
Fantastic work from Mark Spears. And the end of his story is that the Vatican, which hosted several NBA players in the offseason to discuss their push for civil rights, actually called the Hawks and asked if they could send their MLK jerseys to Rome. And on Friday, the Pope blessed them.
Wow, that's awesome.
To honor their shared commitment to making positive change in social equality, economic empowerment, and love. We have a Pope now who puts out statements that quote love. I am all for it. And we now welcome in the man who has covered all of this so beautifully, Mark Spears from The Undefeated. Mark, I love that feature we just watched. Thank you for joining us today. And look, I want to talk to you because no one has covered this better and more thoroughly than you. How has this past year of civil unrest in this country changed the NBA?
Well, I think what we learned from the players is there's strength in numbers. You know, Rachel, you were with me in the bubble and seeing those social justice jerseys and Black Lives Matter on the court, seeing the 3-day revolution in which the players decided not to play. And that allowed most of the NBA arenas to be turned into polling stations that I think definitely had an impact on the election, certainly in Georgia. I mean, they certainly show that they have strength, and I hope the players don't forget to use that strength, whether it's for getting more GMs or more coaches. And then also, you know, now we're seeing with the Memphis Grizzlies, I think in terms of honoring MLK, no one has done it better for them. They've had a symposium and a celebration for 19 years now that I've been blessed to be a part of. I got to interview Jaren Jackson this time around, and he's been really, really big on voting, and I expect him to be in the future. Also, during this time, during those visits, had a chance to go to the National Civil Rights Museum, which if you haven't been, it's certainly a very impactful place. And the one thing that stood out to me of all the things that have stood out to me is towards the entrance, you see from global impact slavery had from 1619 to 1861, and a depiction of what it was like for Africans to be basically squeezed to the bottom of these slave ships and brought to the Americas.
Yeah. You know, the thing about when we watch these athletes and we watch this day, we have to remember it's not just today. Mm-hmm. It's every day in the Black community for these people to see what's going on and to recognize the unjust and to try to even the playing field, so to say. And I love the fact that these players now have the platform to speak their mind, to say what they want to say, because when we played, we wanted to say stuff, but we were a little too afraid to say something because you could get blackballed and you could not play and you wanted to provide for your family so hey, have a better future. But now these guys, they're stepping up and saying, we don't care. We're going to use our platform because now you see it. There's a magnifying glass on us. So now when you say something bad, they're going to see it. We say something good, they're going to see it. So when I say that means the people of the world because of social media. And it's such a great feeling for me to watch each and every guy in the NBA step up and try to have a voice and try to say, hey, this is wrong, this is right. And just to try to bring this world together, because right now we have a lot of issues with social justice, the COVID-19. So today is a proud day for me to see these people step up. And I got to say this, Atlanta, send me one of those jerseys. I love them, man. Send me a jersey.
Nice. There is no doubt. And look, things have changed, Robert, since you were playing in the league. First of all, the salaries endorsement money has gone up. So if you do get, quote, blackballed by one sponsor or one team that is not enlightened, you have other ways to take care of your family. But also, as Mark pointed out, strength in numbers, man. You had some of the biggest stars in the NBA when Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony stood up on that SB stage and said, we challenge all athletes out there. This is a priority to stand up for the people who are not being spoken for. Right. And I think that really unleashed an incredible sense of ownership from these young NBA players. We have an incredible crop of under 25 players in the NBA who do for their communities before they even do for themselves. Yep. And really, again, you have some of the elite players in the league taking a lead in it. In fact, Steven Jackson just let the cat out of the bag that Kyrie Irving has bought a house for the family of George Floyd.
Big time.
Floyd and Steven, of course, close friends growing up together in South Texas. Fizz, we've seen Kyrie be a leader. There's a lot going on with Kyrie Irving right now, but it should not escape anyone's attention. He has been a leader in this fight for social justice, and we've seen several other players step up. If you were advising some of the young players in the league, what do you think comes next for them? What can they do with this power that they now know they have?
Well, I think you just got to continue to utilize your platform to elevate the community's issues, right? And really start thinking about law changing, right? And start getting into what is the root of the problem. And the bottom line is, what everybody's asking for is, can we get to a basic set of laws that everyone can live by so that no one's dying unnecessarily? I mean, I don't think that's a big ask when you really think about it. And I think the players just have to continue to keep that pressure on with the connection to the community and pushing that forward and using their platform to do it. You know, I was in that situation in Memphis when it wasn't popular and we were trying to get down statues of Nathan Bedford Forrest and Jefferson Davis. And I was feeling like Robert said, should I do this? Right.
It was your first head coaching job.
First head coaching job. I'm a young black coach. Will I suffer for this? Cap was just starting to kneel and stuff like that. And I had to do it because this is the home of Dr. King. And now you're starting to see corporate is getting behind these young people. And that's what's really pushing it over the hump, is that the corporate world is supporting our basketball guys and really starting to put pressure on all of these folks. Look at what happened with the Redskins. Right? That was a corporate push to change that name. And now what you're seeing is players are starting to recognize we got a lot of power here and they're using it the right way and they got to keep that pressure going.
Mark, what do you think is next for NBA players?
Well, I hope they keep the education going. To Fizz for what he did in Memphis and what he did in New York from a justice standpoint. But, you know, I remember talking to a young star player, I'll just say that, last year, and asked him about Martin Luther King. And he said, you know, he really did a lot of good things. That he was an important American. And it crushed me to hear a young black man say that. So I think there needs to, I don't depend on the schools. There needs to be more education at home. I mean, all he learned about was MLK and Rosa Parks and Malcolm X when he was in school. But I implore the players and all parents to show their kids eyes on the prize, like my mom let me see in the San American Center, and see the movie Selma and read up on Martin Luther King and other civil rights leaders, because there's just so much to learn that I don't think we should depend on the schools to teach.
Education reform. You hear Donovan Mitchell talking about it all the time. All right, Mark, you're going to stick with us. Coming up, we're going to look ahead to the nightcap of TNT's MLK Day triple header between the Lakers and Warriors. Is James Wiseman already living up to the expectations for him in the Bay? Stick around to find out. We will discuss.